If you're a Republican in Congress, I mean, this one seems fairly easy to me in a way because your base has for years been fed a steady diet of this is a massive cover-up, the likes of which we've never seen, frankly, a global pedophile, satanic cabal that's running the government and has dirt on all of the villainous people that you've been told are horrors, right? Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, et cetera, et cetera. And so for Donald Trump to then turn around and say, you know what, move on, or, you know, that doesn't really fly. And it's not going to fly, frankly, until they get some form of transparency. This is the kind of bind that Trump finds himself in, because if he were tomorrow to say, I'm going to give you these grand jury testimonies, of course that would not be satisfactory to these people, because that leaves out a whole host of information. If they cut a deal, which it appears that they're trying to do with Ghislaine Maxwell, of course that will not be satisfactory to people because she's part of the problem, and how could you possibly trust her? And so he's got to find a way out that would be satisfactory to a group of people, MAGA base voters, who feel like this is one of the crimes of the century. And absent full disclosure, honestly, I'm not sure what he can do. One of the things he did was he said, well, you know, you can't trust anything in these files because Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and James Comey seeded it with dirt. That's not satisfactory to people. So we're looking at potentially this burning on a slow burn until some new scandal potentially oversees it, but I don't see it yet.
Yeah, and it's more than saying just move along. He's saying everything that you have been told about this is a hoax.
Right.
It's a hoax. You can't believe it. And it seems to me that if you're dealing with Bonnie and Clyde, and Clyde's already dead, doing a deal with Bonnie's not going to do the job. I mean, I don't know how a deal with Maxwell does anything but make the administration look even more complicit. And to answer the question, John Lemire, about how to end this, the Wall Street Journal editorial board has a suggestion for the president.
Yeah, with the headline, How to End the Epstein Follies. This is what the Wall Street Journal editorial board writes in part. If Miss Bondi and Mr. Patel are now telling the truth about the contents of the Epstein files, then what's needed are officials who will take the responsibility and then take the heat for declining to publish documents that could hurt victims and ruin reputations without a criminal case. It's too bad Mr. Trump didn't pick an attorney general in the mold of Bill Barr, an experienced hand who could offer that kind of straight talk without worrying about the conspiracy-minded podcast attacks. But perhaps Ms. Bondi and Mr. Patel could call a news conference, provide context on the mentions of Mr. Trump, and explain why releasing raw files could do more harm than good. Bring FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, if he'll show up. Then they and Mr. Trump could tell the public that the files didn't live up to the hype, including theirs before they took office. The case is closed, and that's that. Let's bring in NBC News Senior Executive Editor for National Security, David Rohde. And David, let's get to you about this meeting yesterday. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche set to meet with Ghislaine Maxwell again today for the second day. They did meet yesterday. Maxwell being held in Florida. She's, of course, Epstein's accomplice, serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. Blanche and Maxwell spoke for several hours inside the Tallahassee courthouse yesterday. The Trump administration says it's seeking to question Maxwell for additional information about Epstein's case. Blanche wrote about yesterday's meeting and then also previewed today's upcoming encounter in a social media post last night, writing, the Department of Justice will share additional information about what we learned at the appropriate time. Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, who just so happens to be a personal friend of Todd Blanche, called yesterday's meeting productive. So, David, DOJ not saying a lot about how yesterday went. We know part two will be today. Give us a sense if we have learned anything for what has transpired, but also talk about why, and Joe hinted about this, and Sam as well a moment ago, why this meeting happening at all feels so problematic and potentially even, you know, a significant conflict of interest or corrupt.
So that's the gamble that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Todd Blanche are taking right now, that talking to Ghislaine Maxwell will somehow solve this problem. And I edited a story yesterday by Tom Winter, Chloe Atkins, and Laura Strickland that talked about the repeated series of lies that Ghislaine Maxwell has told. Prosecutors during her trial said that she brazenly lied under oath about her own actions. And then when she came to sentencing, the judge in the case, she had been convicted of child trafficking, said she was given a chance to own up to her own actions, and she didn't do that. So this is not the kind of person you want to say, oh, you know, we have nothing to hide here. We talked to Ghislaine Maxwell. And it'll be fascinating because they can come out with a conspiracy theory. They could, you know, walk out the door and say this is all the fault of Barack Obama, as you know has been occurring in other parts of the administration, you know, or they could try to say case closed, as the Wall Street Journal said. And I think it's a pivotal moment, particularly for Bondi. She is the one in the hot seat here, and will she come out? Again, other colleagues that are at NBC have said there's frustration at the White House that Bondi isn't coming out and fighting publicly and sort of defending the administration. So this is going to be a very big moment for the Justice Department.
Yeah, Trump certainly offered a pretty robust defense of Bondi last week, but this matter has lingered. It certainly does seem like frustration is growing with inside the building. And certainly some Democrats have been raising the alarms that like maybe Maxwell walks out with a pardon if she exonerates Trump, if she does what the administration wants to do. We're going to have to follow what happens today. Beyond that, though, are we going to learn anything more? I know there's a judge blocked the release of some of these grand jury transcripts. The White House still suggesting that they're going to try another means to get them out. You know, beyond the media reporting, and both Wall Street Journal and New York Times had some additional material last night linking the friendship between Trump and Epstein. Nothing criminal, but certainly including how close these two men used to be. Are there more avenues here where the administration could put, if they so choose, put more material into the public eye?
There's a very limited amount. These transcripts should come out from the grand juries, but that won't show much. Senator Ron Wyden has been pushing a follow the money argument about looking at the financial records. How did this happen? How did he get his money? That's critical. I think, though, this is going to continue. The House Oversight Committee, as we were just talking about the House being the issue here, is set to depose Ghislaine Maxwell on August 11th. The judges have talked about not releasing these grand jury transcripts till mid-August. This could continue for weeks. Expectations remain high, and I just don't see. I thought the Wall Street Journal proposal was interesting, but it's Bondi, Trump himself, clearly saying this didn't live up to the hype and owning up to what's happened. You know, we'll see if that actually occurs.
NBC's David Rohde, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. No, I don't think that will occur. So, David Drucker, with all due respect to the Wall Street Journal editorial page, I don't even think that would do it. Now, that would do it for a lot of us, right? That would, I'm not speaking for you, but for a lot of us to go, okay, well, yeah, that's a very responsible way to do it. There's nothing here. We're going to hurt people if we just throw that out haphazardly. It's not the tradition of the Justice Department to do that. We made a mistake. Yeah, that ain't happening. Number one. Number two, I feel like we're still in Act One of this because the Justice Department is making mistakes. I mean, sending Todd Blanche in to talk to Maxwell, no matter what happens, is going to end up only feeding the conspiracy theory. We are talking about in the Justice Department. Well, first of all, he was Donald Trump's personal attorney, and we've had Pam Bondi and other members of the Justice Department identify themselves as Donald Trump's attorneys. Not attorneys for the United States, not attorneys that represent the people. We are the president's attorneys. And that's how Donald Trump sees it. So using their own words, their own admissions, here you have Donald Trump's own attorneys going in to talk to the co-conspirator and what Republicans say is the greatest pedophile ring like in the history of the world. And are they expecting somehow to come out and say, oh, yeah, she said it was all Barack Obama's fault? I mean, this is, as George Clooney's character in Fantastic, Mr. Fox would have said, it's amateur night in Dixie, people. It's amateur night in Dixie. This is not working, right?